give up, never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. You heard it, WCRS. We will never give up, never surrender. Keep listening right here on WCRS. We try harder because we will never give up, we will never surrender. Oh, that's right. We will never give up. We will never surrender. That is the theme. We will never give up. Actually, the theme is, who will tell these stories once we are gone, folks? Who will continue to tell the stories? So much happened this weekend. It's a big 4th of July weekend around the country, actually even around the world. And here we are this morning right here on WCRS. So how you doing? How are you doing? Did you have a good 4th of July? Did you do something outrageous, courageous? Did you have a good time? That's what I want to know. Some people go all out. Some people are quiet. And then there's people like Penny. People like Penny. Are you there, Penny? She's sleeping. Anyway, she had a great weekend. Don't let her fool you. Don't let her fool you. Just because the show isn't all about her all the time, she's getting to be quite a diva. So anyways, I hope you had a good one. It certainly was a hot one out there. While we are got a couple minutes here, let's check the weather and just see how the weather is going to cooperate or not going to cooperate today. Right now, it is... What is it right now? Right now, it is 80 degrees. Feels like 86 degrees out there. We're headed, so that's an additional 6 degrees added to the actual temperature. It is right now 80, 86. We're looking for a high of 92 today. So if you add the feels like, that means it's going to be... about 98 degrees out there. A cool one. Whew. Anyways, that's what we are looking for today. Low tonight of 73. Sunshine and clouds mixed. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. And that's what we're looking forward here today. Tonight looks like maybe some scattered thunderstorms during the evening, partly cloudy skies after midnight. Storms may contain strong gusty winds, low of 73, chance of rain 40%. Tuesday is pretty much of a ditto day. Same temp, high of 92, low of 73. Wednesday comes in a little bit warmer. 95 will be the high, low of 74. No real chance of any rain on Wednesday. Thursday, again, a ditto day. 95 for the high, 74 for the low, and no real chance of any rain. That, of course, is the beginning of the Festival of Discovery and Blues Cruise. Friday comes in. Whoo, it's going to be cooling down, folks. High of just 94. Low of 74, and about a 20% chance of maybe a shower at night. Saturday, high of 92. Of course, this is going to be the main day of the festival. High of 92, low of 73. They are saying a chance of rain is 30%. Well, let's see. Partly cloudy in the morning, followed by scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. High of 92. Chance of rain 40%. That is during the day. And that night looks like a chance of rain of 30%. I'm going to say hallelujah. Maybe a few showers will cool it down unless it just makes it too steamy. There you go. Sunday, after we go through it and everything, Sunday, a high of 88, low of 71. So that's what we are looking for this coming week. Anything's possible. Anything can change, but that's kind of what they're looking at right now. Festival of Discovery will be in full bloom. You'll actually be able to buy barbecue starting Thursday. Thursday lunchtime, I think most of the barbecuers will be set up. They also will be closing off Main Street as of, Thursday noon, I do believe. So just FYI, things to be aware of. So I had a great weekend. Not what I planned, but that's when some of the magic happens, when you don't do exactly what you were supposed to do. Number one, I had a great time Saturday morning. I was going to pass on doing a show Saturday morning, and then I thought, how can I pass on doing a show on Saturday morning when we are celebrating the nation's 250th birthday? And it's actually on Saturday that was July 4th. How could I pass? So I didn't. We had a good time. Penny dressed up in her little outfit. It was very fun. We did a combo show that I'm looking at doing futuristically, part live, part just on the radio. So look forward to fleshing that out and coming up with some ideas on how to make that work. So stay tuned. The best is yet to come. And then I went out and celebrated America in some ways, as everybody did. And here we have Celebrate America. Yes, that famous dog, Louie. What does it say? The people declare independence. So it was a hot one for dogs. Let me tell you, it was a hot for humans. But anyways, I wanted to talk about some of the things that the sights and the sounds of this past weekend and what they meant from my perspective. I had plans to go here. I had plans to go there. Like all good plans, up in smoke. But what I did do Saturday was Saturday evening, I went out on the lake with a friend, and we weren't out to look for decorations on the different piers. And I must say, we must have not found the exact right area because, truthfully, I did not see many, but maybe it was where we were at. I'm just saying. Some were very lovely. There were a few that were very lovely with lit up flags and all this kind of stuff. But I must have not found the highly decorated area, or maybe we started too late to be able to see them. But we were out puttering around on the lake having a good time, and we took a picnic dinner, and we sat out there on the lake, and when it got dark around, 9:45, 9 o'clock, all of a sudden, fireworks were going off everywhere. We were going to go down to Skipper's and watch that, but we hadn't quite made it there, and we ended up sitting just right there in the middle of the lake with surround of fireworks. There were fireworks from every direction. It was so cool to be sitting in the middle of the lake, and you'd look on one side, on the other side, the back, around, and they were all going off at different times. The only thing I could think that would make this more better would have been music. Not specific to this fireworks or that fireworks, but music that could be played as everybody was shooting off fireworks. It was very cool. And some, of course, were bigger, some were smaller, but the bottom line is it was great. So that was a very cool experience, and I enjoyed that very much, and that became quite memorable for me. So that's what I did for the actual 4th of July. And when I was sitting out there on the boat, something about a boat, I was thinking about all the experiences that WCRS allows me. And I realized I get to hear the stories from everybody. I tell a lot of stories, but I get to hear a lot of stories. And, I just wonder who's going to tell America's story. Well, when I got back Saturday night after our fireworks and everything, the fireworks were going to be Washington, D.C. He was going for the big record. It was going to be all this stuff and everything. Well, they did have rain, thunder, and lightning, so they had to pull everybody and put them in shelters. How about a shelter like the Smithsonian? How would you like to shelter in the Smithsonian? What a place! Anyways, one of the things I want to say about President Trump is, his staff wanted him to postpone it until the following weekend to have this big fireworks display and his speech and everything. And I mean, he had everything assembled, ready to go. He goes, no. Today, July 4th, is America's birthday. We are doing it today. And I think the quote goes something like, I don't care if we have to do it at 4 o'clock in the morning and there's only one person sitting out there on the grass. I am going to do it on the 4th. Well, it'd be the morning of the 5th. But anyways, I think there is something to be said to standing firm to what needed to be done. And so they waited it out. I guess it was 11. It was around 11 o'clock, I guess, when they finally got started. And, everybody always goes, oh, President Trump, he'll be going off script. This thing will take forever. Well, this really is the first speech that I remember Donald Trump doing where, quote, he didn't go off script. And it only lasted less than 30 minutes. I think it was 27 minutes. But in that, he packed so much love. I'm just going to say the word love in that speech. Don't know if you saw it or not. Don't know if you said, I'm not watching it. Well, it was really very impactful. He had veterans there, over 100 years old from World War II. I don't remember how many. I think there were 4 or 5 of them there. One of them, I don't remember, it was the 107 or the 104, walked out onto the stage, folks. Walked out onto the stage, saluted the flag, and stood there while President Trump talked about him. But whether they were in a wheelchair, or whether they were walking under their own power, all of them were in really excellent shape. And they all stood to salute their flag. I might be wrong, maybe not all of them, but most of them were able to stand to salute the flag. He talked about each of them's contributions to America. And it was very, very meaningful. And so I just wanted to say, and then he had the flags. Here's what I wanted to say. And then he had some original flags throughout history of our country. One flag that had been handmade by somebody in Europe. Now, I could have gone back and gotten the exact quotes and everything, but I'm just talking here this morning. A flag that had been made by an individual in Europe, gave it to a now veteran, but a military person who was there, I believe, that night to bring back to America, and that was thanking the United States for freeing them. How impactful is that? President Trump talked about, and then he had an early flag, just flags that had been preserved. I don't know if these flags are on display anywhere or whether they brought them out for this very special occasion. But I thought it was really special. And of course, we had Lee Greenwood come out and sing "God Bless America," as only Lee Greenwood can do it. And there were people in the audience singing it too. And some people had tears in their eyes. It really was a very, number one, emotional, but it was the way America, in my opinion, should be. We should be thankful that we have this country. We should be thankful that we have this opportunity. We should try to get around all this strife and everything. But for that one night, right there, were all kinds of people sitting, standing, sitting on the grass, standing up, dancing. They were together as Americans. And that's what I found significant about that. His speech was good, but it was good because it brought people together. If only we could have some of that same spirit. So. All right, so he gets through his speech. We got the veterans. I wanted to mention something else, and then I'm going to come back to the fireworks display. I happened to see a special about, one of the shows I love to watch is CBS Sunday Morning, and they had a piece about a guy, I think his name is J.K. Simmons, who has been recording for the last 10 years veteran stories. You know, we also have the Veterans History Project up there in Washington, D.C., where stories can be submitted from veterans. That is an excellent project. But this guy has been fascinated by veterans, and he goes around and records their stories. Of note, there are only about 30,000 World War II veterans left. But he raises the question, and I think this is an excellent question. He says, it's not really a question, it's a statement. He says that the moral clarity for our country has come from our World War II veterans, the greatest generation, and that these veterans have been steering the ship since World War II, since World War II. So what happens when they're gone? When we don't have that moral clarity? And isn't that really one of the problems that our country has? We've lost our moral compass. We've lost our moral clarity. So who does take over that position of giving us moral clarity, the moral compass? We have so many stories day in and day out that show our country at such odds with each other's and everything. But I thought that was very, to me, that was very impactful. I had to write it down. Who will bring the moral clarity to our country? So that's a little bit of something I wanted to ask. What do you think? Do you think that there is going to be a new moral compass and one that we like? Oh, goodness. I tell you what, do you think that will make a difference? Do you think that will make a difference? Do you think there will be somebody or some group that will come forward that will bring us to a moral compass? Do you think our country, here's one of the bigger questions, do you think our country, because of the direction that the Democratic Party is taking with this side road, maybe not side road, could become mainstream Democratic Socialist Communist direction, that they appear to be going down? Or will moral clarity keep us from going in that direction? I don't know. It's interesting times that we live in, for sure. So that's another little angle here I wanted to talk about. What was nice about Saturday and the event up there in Washington, D.C., even though it was late, was a total celebration of our country. And I think that's what made it so great. Even though the rain and everything, they ended up with more people showing up on at the event. People that I guess thought maybe they couldn't make it, and then they were able to make it because it was held off. So, and then when they went for the fireworks, I thought that was most interesting because, Trump, he's always got to be number one. People are going to say, what's the deal? But I think that the idea of trying to be super, super, super on the number one on the fireworks is pretty darn cool. So there has actually been a Guinness World Record. Let's see, I forgot the story. I forgot where it is from. It's telling about fireworks. I gotta just type this in again. I had it here. Fireworks for the 4th. The 4th. Who holds the record? Who holds the record? I think it's Japan. Is it Japan for most fireworks? Let's see. Let's see if I can get an answer here real quick from my assistant. Let's see. If I could type better, it would be better. But anyways, who holds the record for the most fireworks? Is it Japan? I think it's been relatively recently. So, and how... Organizers plan to launch 850,000 fireworks is what they plan to launch during that 40-minute show. It will surpass, if it is confirmed by Guinness, it will surpass the previous record of 810,904 fireworks set during a New Year's celebration in the Philippines in 2016. That's nearly 40,000 more fireworks than the old record. So a typical 4th of July on the National Mall uses about 20,000 fireworks. This year's show has about 10 times larger than the normal Washington celebration, as it should be. But also, my question is, how do they count them? How do they know that 850,001 firecracker was set off? The record is verified using official inventory, firing plans, computerized firing systems, and independent witnesses. Yeah, was somebody standing there in the audience? 1, 2... So did you know that's how they do it? Yes, no, I don't know. I think it's funny that how could you even count it, or do they have the shells, the tubes, whatever that they have, and they take them and they dump them all in a pile and they say, here you go, Guinness World Record, knock your lights out. Do you know that usually at a event, a Guinness World Record, they have judges there, people checking to make sure that everything is correct. So did they make a big pile of all the stuff, or did they actually say, since all these things went off and this is how many we had, did they have them count them before they actually put them off? I mean, there's a lot of technical stuff to becoming number one in the most fireworks ever shot off. Well, any ideas? Would you like to have been there shooting off the fireworks? That's the question. That is the question. 864-332-9355. 864-332-9355. Fireworks. How do you count the record of fireworks? That's what we all want to know. Fireworks. So that's a pretty good space as far as 816, 820, 810,904 fireworks. How did they get to number 904? How did they get that? Anyways, so if they shot off 850, that's 40,000 more fireworks. Check it out, folks. Count them up. Do they have official counters? All right. That's just a little aside. But anyways, I thought the 4th of July celebration at the National Mall was really terrific, and I thought it was very impactful and something that should be remembered and memorialized because it was pretty awesome. I also think sometimes we forget that this is the last 250th. Some people will be around for maybe the 300. A lot of us are going to be gone, though, by the time they get to 300. So I hope you got to enjoy it. All right. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is going to see Jaws. Jaws, Jaws, Jaws. I went with a friend Sunday night to go see Jaws. That's right. Originally released in 1975. I think this probably was a defining moment for Steven Spielberg's abilities. He relatively unknown. He had some success, relatively unknown. And also, you should know, in case you didn't know, that the studio wanted to build a huge water tank to be able to shoot all the scenes for Jaws, and Steven Spielberg insisted that it be done on real water, in the real ocean, So this created a lot of problems, took a lot longer to film because of that. So I sat down. I was like, well, I know what this is going to be about. The kids will be on the rock, and their dad will come, and they'll kill the shark, the whale, the shark. And then we get into the story, and it's the very first Jaws. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but there was one guy in there who was the head of county council or whatever. He did not want to shut down the beach. And this, of course, was July 4th. This was right up off of Cape Cod. And they were anticipating a huge season. The weather was perfect. The police chief says, no, we got to put the signs out. We already have had one death. We've had 2 deaths, actually. So people are hanging on the beach, and they end up some of them end up getting in the water. Then everybody's in the water. Then the shark comes. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. John Williams won several awards for that score. The one that everybody he said when Spielberg heard it, he went, yeah, it's all right. And it turned out to be award winning. So, and every time you hear that music, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, you know that they're talking about Jaws. So I was genuinely surprised to remember and see that the very first Jaws had the guy who was getting paid $10,000 to kill Jaws, and they were on his boat out there in the middle of the ocean. Richard Dreyfuss was we'll call him a rich snot, but was very down-to-earth guy who had studied all things about sharks. He was on board there. He had brought some equipment and everything because he had his ideas how to kill the shark. And then, of course, there was the police chief who said, I hate being out on the water. He was from New York City, hated being out on the water. And in the end, the guy who was the guy that was the shark killer that was getting paid $10,000 got eaten by Jaws. The boat is going down. Oh, I forgot. Richard Dreyfuss was in a shark cage, and the shark destroyed that, and he's laying on the bottom of the ocean, but he does have air tanks. And in the end, it is the police chief that gets a canister of compressed air in the mouth of the shark, and the shark's going, oh, not bad. Running around with this big tank of compressed air. Police chief shoots the compressed air, blows the shark to smithereens as the boat is going down, and he's clinging to the mast out there in the middle of the ocean. Of course, they have no communication because the guy who owned the boat didn't want him calling back and getting reinforcements. He wanted, of course, the big honor of getting the shark. So all of a sudden, from out of the bottom of the ocean comes Richard Dreyfuss. He's still alive. Police chief is alive. And they kill the shark. But of course, the story continues. But I had forgotten all the details to the beginning of that movie, so it was great, because I actually became very scared. And you know, I think about these stories sometimes, about seeing an old movie and how they would do it today, and hoping and praying that they don't do a new Jaws, because it was so good the way it was. Yes, there are some kind of campy moments in it, but it's great to see the fashion of 1975, right? See all the beachwear. People were actually wearing swim trunks or bathing suits, not string bikinis. They had actual clothes on, and yes, they went swimming. Anyways, those are just a few of my observations about that. If you get the opportunity, I don't know whether it is showing this Wednesday or it's gone. Of course, you can watch it on the small screen, or maybe you've got your own theater room. But seeing it on the big screen is really the way some of these movies were intended to be done. So that was a lot of fun to close out my 4th of July weekend. I don't know what you did, but if you'd like to share, 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. I also love the fact when they were talking about public safety in the movie, the mayor, as I said, not closing the beaches. All these things, and why Jaws became a classic is easy to understand. I think this throwback series that they're doing at the theater, they usually play them, I think they played a special Saturday night showing this time because it was the 4th of July when it opened in 1975. But I think it is a terrific throwback. They play them Sunday night, Wednesday night, and maybe another night. I don't remember. Lots of great movies out there, but this is a classic and thoroughly enjoyed it. All right, well, let's move on and talk about some other stuff. Maybe we should go ahead and hear a little commercial break here this morning, because that's what makes the world go round, is commercials, ads, and all this good stuff. So let's see what we got here. What's Penny doing? What's Penny doing? Oh, let's pull up her picture and see what Penny's doing. Penny. Oh, yeah, there she is. Look at her, so lovely. Now let's look at the reality of Penny here this morning. Oh, she's awake. Are you awake? How about that? Penny's awake here this morning, so that's a good thing. Let's do a quick commercial break, and we will be right back right here at WCRS. Maybe let's put Penny up while we take that commercial break. Commercial break. Yes, there we go. Take it away.
Hey, y'all, this is your old blues buddy, Shrimp City Slim, calling your attention to the fact that the 25th annual Greenwood Blues Cruise and South Carolina Festival of Discovery is coming back to Uptown Greenwood July 9th through the 11th. Of course, if you know, you know. 80-plus barbecue teams competing for national prizes, 30 national blues artists performing free shows day and night for 3 days. It's going to be incredible. And it's fun for the whole family. Everybody's invited. We want to see your face in the place. Festival of Discovery 2026, the 25th annual Greenwood Blues Cruise. Find out more information at www.uptowngreenwood.com, and we'll see you there.
We are the home of the free because of the brave. It is our annual Veterans Appreciation Day celebration to say thank you for your service to our country. When Thursday, July 16th. 11 to 2 at the Greenwood County Veterans Affairs Office. Light lunch, prizes, and many businesses to say thank you. Are you a business that serves veterans? Then call 864-450-9268. That's 864-450-9268 to participate. Veterans, be there Thursday, July 16th, 11 to 2, and let us say thank you. Screens, 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 rescreens, new screens. Do you need screens? Windows or doors? Call Cross Creek Glass, 864-223-3803. Next to the hospice store, 225B North Creek Boulevard. Don't let the bugs in. Get screened at Cross Creek Glass, 864-223-3803. Hello! Want to leave a voice message during a show? Have a news tip or event to report? Use the new WCRS tip line, 864-332-9355. Text or voice, I'll be sure to get it right here on WCRS. Again, 864-332-9355. Oh, oh, that's right. We are right here at WCRS. Penny's got her paw out reach saying, please talk about something good for me. Please give me something to talk about. I want to talk about something here today. Well, Penny, what would you like to talk about? The abuse that I had to endure. I was left here when you went out on the boat. I was left here when you went to see Jaws. Is that even fair? I would have loved to have been on a boat trip. I've never taken a boat trip, and you did not take me out on Lake Greenwood. Why? Why, I ask, why? I'm sorry, Penny. I really am. I thought about taking you, but I wasn't sure it would work out that well. And there were going to be other people there, and I didn't want to be embarrassed. What? I am never an embarrassment. I am Princess Penny. You should know that by now. I would have been a perfect boating companion. Well, we're going to take you another time, Penny. We've already decided you're going to get to go another time. But, yeah, I know it wasn't that much fun being here by yourself. So, all right. Well, we got a couple things left to talk about. One of the things that another story that I heard about is that they're now making listening rooms and building very wonderful, exacting speakers and listening to vinyl records, and the idea that people can be alone in your thoughts. We have become such a society of scrolling and everything. We're afraid to be alone with our thoughts. Maybe it's because our thoughts are too scary. But anyways, I think this is a wonderful idea to be able to really hear the music. You know, there is such a difference in the music that we hear today on the radio, on MP3s and everything. The sound is so compressed. I mean, it's good. It's good. And but to hear something full-fledged on a vinyl record or some of the other ways that they're able to separate all the tracks out is truly amazing. So I think this could be maybe something coming to an area near us, a listening room. Wouldn't that be cool? I think that would be terrific. You know, one of the things I used to like is when Barnes and Nobles let you take the CD. Well, they had CDs, and you could put the CD and you could listen to it through headphones to see if it was you wanted to buy it. You know, here in Greenwood, I forget the name of the record store that was in uptown Greenwood. They had a record store, and they actually had listening booths where people could take and put that vinyl record on a record player and listen to it. We just had so many cool things that we did, and society has moved on to make things, quote, more better. But the communality that used to happen when teenagers, young people, adults, but went there to the record store, particularly on Saturday morning, took their money and bought a newest record that came out and got to listen to it right there to decide whether they wanted it and discuss it with their friends and all this type of thing. What a difference in the world. And maybe that's why we have so much loneliness in the world, because we can do all these things on our phone alone. The beauty of the listening room is that it's designed for a group to be in this listening room, to be alone with your thoughts, but to be with a group. That's pretty cool. So I wanted to share that story for you. We'll look forward to see if any listening rooms come here to Greenwood. And my final story for today, well, I don't know if it's the final story. It could be. Oh, we're close. Is the, in Pickens, don't know if you saw this story in the news or not, but a man, God bless him, put a pressure cooker on top of a gas pump. People saw this package sitting there on the gas pump, called the cops. They thought it was some type of ancillary device or whatever, right? No, it was just a pressure cooker sitting there. Of course, he's now has several charges because of this. Don't know why he did it. That's the only thing I saw on that story. But what a story. Somebody would take a pressure cooker and put it on top of a gas pump. Can you imagine what could have happened if that pressure cooker had gone off? Didn't they use pressure cookers with detonating with little bombs or something in them that went off at the bombing in New England with the run that was going on? They did. They used pressure cookers. So I don't know what this guy was trying to do or anything else, but can you imagine? So, love to get your comments here this morning, 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. Love to hear from you here this morning if you've got anything to say. Hope you will comment, whether it's there or on Facebook Live, 864-332-9355, or right here, Facebook Live. Penny and I are styling here this morning, and she's awake. She goes, I had my opportunity to speak and nobody heard me. Penny, I'm going to get you your own mic. So you say, but you never do it. You're too afraid I might take over the show. You already have taken over the show, Penny. Just FYI, you already have taken over the show. All right. Let's see. What else did I have here this morning as we roll through all my subjects here for this morning? So the gas pump story, that certainly was stupid. That also was frightening. If that thing had been filled with bomb material, could have been horrific accident, or not an accident, planned event that could have been disastrous. But as it turned out, it was just a pressure cooker. What was his purpose? I have no idea. So that's a dumb criminal, stupid criminal story. I also wanted to share a quote this morning that I thought was pretty terrific. So let's see if we can get that up there for you. Where is it? This is a quote from Morgan Freeman. I love what Morgan Freeman and some of his quotes and everything. He says, I always tell my kids, If you lay down, people will step all over you. But if you keep scrambling, if you keep going, somebody will always give you a hand. Always. But you got to keep dancing. You got to keep your feet moving. So that's highlights in the importance of determination and continuous effort. In today's fast-paced and competitive world, this message remains highly relevant. It reminds us that staying active, persistent, and forward-moving increases the chances of receiving support and creating opportunities. Morgan Freeman's words continue to inspire conversations about resilience, self-motivation, and the importance of never giving up despite life's challenges. And you know what I say. Yes, this is what I say.
Never give up, never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. You heard it, WCRS. We will never give up, never surrender. Keep listening right here on WCRS. We try harder because we will never give up. We will never surrender.
That's right. We'll never give up. We'll never surrender over here. So that's, getting a hand. If you are really trying to do something, if you're really being motivated to do something, people will help you. It's the idea. It is the idea that we all are supposed to, regardless of the effort that a person's put forward, we are supposed to give a handout. We're supposed to give a handout. No, we're supposed to give a hand up to someone to be able to succeed. And that is what our country was built on. All right. Now, coming up today, I got a big schedule. Oh, my God, I got a big schedule. What do we got here today, Ann? Well, at 3 o'clock, we have Sherry Biggs will be joining me in studio for a pop-up interview right here. So that's going to be a good opportunity. If you have any questions you'd like me to ask of her, 864-332-9355. That's 864-332-9355. But she will be here at 3. We will be live on the radio and live on Facebook. So make sure you tune in for that. That'll go on from 3 to 3:30, quarter to 4, somewhere in there. Then at 5 o'clock, we'll be back with Local Focal and what they're going to be doing at the festival this year. Of course, Local Focal works with all our local artists right here in Greenwood and the surrounding areas. So they will be having their festival, part of the Festival of Discovery and Blues Cruise, but their stage will be upstairs at Howard's. So it has been immensely successful, what they have done up there. This is, I think, their 3rd year. And so we will have Granger Smith and Nick Massey will be joining us to talk about what the plan is for Local Focal this year. That'll go on from 5 probably to around 6. Then, Tuesday morning, you got to tune in for Tuesday morning. We're going to be talking to some of the people who have big concerns about the data centers and this text amendment that County Council has been putting forward. This will be 3rd reading, and they could vote on this for County Council for the text amendment. This could become the rule of the land if they've got the votes. I don't know if they've got the votes or not. But there are several people that are going to come on the air to talk to us tomorrow morning about some of the issues that they have investigated on data centers. So that'll be Tuesday morning. We'll start at 9:30 and probably go to around 10:30. So that'll be a good one. And then starting Tuesday afternoon at roughly a little after 4 till 5:30 or so, we're going to be interviewing 3 or 4 artists every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We will be starting around 4 o'clock, as I said, because we got 15 or so artists I'm going to interview right here on WCRS. Now, you might say, why do you put yourself through this, Ann? because it is a great opportunity for you to be able to hear some of the artists, or a majority of the artists, hear some of their music and decide, yes, this is someone I want to see. And because there's so much going on at this festival between Thursday evening and Saturday evening that there is no way to be able to catch everything. So this way, you're able to say, I gotta see this artist, I gotta see this artist. So I just thought I would put that out there and tune in. We'll be live on Facebook and live on the radio. And of course, during the week, I'm going to be out there doing some of my live hits, which are always a hoot from the festival itself. So that's another thing going on. You know, I talked to a veteran this weekend, and he's a pretty old veteran. And one of the things that he told me that I think I want to close with is life is a roller coaster. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. And that's like the Frank Sinatra song, That's Life. Yes, that's right. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. And you should never give up when you're down, because God has a plan for you. And you just have to let the roller coaster roll on. I think that's a perfect way to end this show. No matter what happens, we can never give up. We must keep on trying to move forward. And even when life gets you down, keep realizing there is a plan, and you can make it happen if you just believe. I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio. Penny, what do you got to say? Nothing. Nothing. You don't let me speak. You just make me sit here like this. I didn't even get dressed for the occasion. What's happening here, folks? I don't think I'm getting treated properly. Well, Penny, we'll put that beautiful picture of you up as we close out the show here, because I know that you are ready for the mic if I would just let it happen. Well, that's the truth. Hey, I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio. Thanks for tuning in with us right here. Have a great day. Make sure you're joining me at 3 o'clock right here with Sherry Biggs, and at 5 o'clock with Local Focal. Granger Smith, Nick Massey will be here to tell me all about it. You're going to want to hear all about it. Have a great day. Take it away. We've got Penny on the mic, and we've got the music coming down.